In 1990, on a purchasing power parity, we will not get into all those things. It is a basis purely in terms of real or what one can call inflation adjusted economy. Half of the world GDP was with what are called G7 countries. Something like 35-36% was with the emerging markets. Now the same G7, now G7 all of you know has been expanded to G20. They have also been included. And we are not in the main table, let me be very clear. When a small stool is put and one more thing is main table dinner is again G7 only. A small stool, 56,000 crore mean only a stool will be, further you have to give to get into the main table. But it's okay, he is sitting like this. And that photo of what they call, it is given, he stands between Merkel and other European leaders and all Indian papers. So, what has happened in 2015, which has already taken place in 2011, the G7 has got only 36% of the global GDP. The other emerging, primarily India, China, and some of the large countries, they have got now 52%. This is the crux of the crisis. And it is expected in another 7-8 years, 2020, this 36 will become something like 25 to 26%. Because all of them are experiencing what are called negative growth rates. Right? Not -0, as yesterday somebody was telling. That Jaiswal had asked about this whole thing. He told, no, we are not growing at -0%. There is nothing called problem. Interesting thing, right? So, this is expected to be 20. If that is 26, you can imagine, totally is 100, let's be very clear about it. Right? Unlike Musharraf who always say, 400% I can assure you, I never understood what he was talking. 100% is 100 anyhow. So if this is 26, the remaining 74 will be other countries. And this is the crisis. The crisis from their point of view, the axis of economic power has shifted to away from Anglo-Saxon world. And we have to internalize it. It's a very, very important thing which we have not yet understood. This we have been telling from nearly 2003, 2004. Right? We mean quite a number of people like me have been shouting about it. But nobody was listening to it. Now what has happened, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, everybody is telling the same thing. And once they are beginning to tell, we also begin to believe in that. That's very important. Who should tell? Nowadays I don't tell anything. I write all my article and send it to abroad, US, and tell those professors, you send it back. Then people will begin to accept it. Because I tell who will bother. It's all right, something is. But that man, preferably white, that is very important. Not our brown fellows there. First choice is white. If he says that we are all on decline, they are telling it actually. London economist has written, and so this is now becoming, this is the most important. Second is this emerging. We are not actually an emerging economy. These are all what I call terminological terrorism. There is one form of terrorism called terminological terrorism. It's a very dangerous thing. The World Bank came and told you are all unorganized. Unorganized means retail, trade, kirana, fellow, all are unorganized. What is this unorganized? Somehow they have used that term. Now everybody is telling the same thing. You are unorganized. Fellow opens the shop at 6 o'clock in the morning near my home. And night at 10 he closes. 7 days a week, all days of the year. And that fellow is unorganized. What is this rubbish? Can you believe that? And in one small TVS 50, 2 truckloads he brings in the morning. I don't know how he manages it. All the, this, what you call, vegetables, and I could never imagine a truckload can be kept in a TVS. He brings, and along with that his 2 kids and and that fellow is called unorganized. This is one terminological terrorism. Don't, that is the, I always used to remember in my graduate time, we used to have 3 papers in Statistical Institute, Calcutta. One is called American Economic Systems, Economic Papers, American Economic System. Another is European Economic History, past European. Third is Indian Economic Problems. No, you are all laughing, but what I want to stress is, this has got internalized into my. So whenever Indian economy, problem. It is not a system, it is not an external thing. So this has been gone into that. So what I want to say is, this is not emerging. Emerging is again a terminology invented and told. Exactly what is the situation? It is re-emerging. Till 1820, I am not going to go deep into that. Angus Madison's study is available in the web. Till 1820, for instance, India and China had something of the order of 50% of the world GDP. From 1 CE onwards, he has constructed. It's one of the most monumental work ever he did for the OECD. Last year only he passed away. Angus Madison is considered as one of the great, what one can call, statistical economists who could construct. So till 1820, India and China were the leading powers in terms of GDP. Why he did that? He told in an interview. Because generally it is felt, Indians are all sitting in the caves and, inhaling and exhaling. That's what they were doing. Breathing in and breathing out. So it's not true. He says Indians are as materialistic as anyone else. They had trade, they had commerce, they had all type of activities. And so that means what? Basically we are a re-emerging economy. So wherever I go and talk about people are emerging, I tell, don't tell we are emerging economy. They are retrieving where we were. They are getting back into where we were. So that is what is taking place. Now why did these, obviously 1820 onwards, because everybody knows gunpowder was facilitated by the European countries and they knew how to use gunpowder. Right? Whereas we and China were only using it for festivals and other things. Generally bursting crackers and going around. But they knew how to appropriate and use that single, what one can call, method of using the gunpowder. Altered the entire equation of the global picture. Okay. Now why did they get, these are all same thing. This is the issue they got into, and this did not come in the last 1 or 2 years. This has developed over the last 20-25 years. They are all phenomenally indebted, actually. If you look at it, United States, these are all actually February figures. Now it has increased now. Every month it is increasing. US is now 310% overall debt. There is no way they are going to sort it out. Every day it is increasing. There is actually in the web, if you go, very interesting, called US debt table. Every minute it grows. Tells how much is, they are accumulating debt. Brazil is now 200%. Britain 580% today. 580% of its GDP is debt. Our own Britain. I call it our own Britain because sooner or later we have to run it. I am telling you. There is no way they can sustain their activity. They will either outsource it or not that we are great in, but one thing, we may not be great in running our government, but we are much better in attempting to do other people's affairs. Japan, Germany, you can see that. It's a huge amount. When you say debt, it means government debt, corporate debt, household debt. The severe problem comes not in government, this is the acute problem. Every household is indebted beyond their head. Average American family of 4 numbers have got 13 credit cards. Today. It's a huge bubble. As if there is no tomorrow. As if there is no tomorrow. So household debt you can see relatively in India, China and other thing is much, much smaller. Other countries it is phenomenally higher. As if there is no tomorrow. Phenomenal amount of Britain is practically 100% household debt to GDP. Why we are focusing on household debt? Government debt, what happened? Government can print notes. Kindly remember that. The government of India has got access to the Nashik press. Sometimes private fellows like Delhi also got access. In India, anything, you might have read in papers, right? And somebody told me he was producing better, bond paper. So the government can always print, increase inflation, but sort out its debt. In other words, there is nothing called sovereign debt, there is nothing called a defaulter. But households unfortunately don't have that facilities. Individual housewife early morning in the kitchen, can't sort of rotate and get some rupee notes, not so far. Right? Along with filter coffee, have you printed for today? No, that's not possible. So that is the crux of the crisis. Why we are so low? Because still our saving is phenomenally high. Actually our saving rate is 36%. All the global economists who are complaining India is not saving much and other thing are telling the other way now. Why are you saving? No, so much. Go and consume. What you call shop till you drop. That should be your philosophy. If you go to Changi Airport, there is a huge board. What is the national slogan of Singapore? Shop till you drop. Before you come out of the supermarket, you should order. So that is a 36, 38. And within that, 80% of the saving is household saving. Phenomenal amount of what one can call benefit in terms of household saving. Actually, that is something which is very, very not there in the other countries or situations. So, who is propelling our growth? If you want to look at it, the people who are propelling our growth are actually households. They are the single source of reason for. The other day there was some discussion in Delhi. Somebody was telling what is the reason for our growth. I told simple. From Kottayam to Kamrup, have small statues of housewives in every town, because they are the one who are responsible for the growth. Average Indian housewife is the one who is propelling us, and we create a very small statue of unknown housewife without a handbag, of course, like this. I think some of you would have seen statues with handbag, very risky, particularly in UP, right? Now there was a big debate in Washington. I remember I was in a conference. Why do your people save so much? This is not a curiosity. This becomes a cause of concern for Western fellows. Why are you saving like? I told very simple, sir. We don't have a generalized social security scheme. In US, when you reach 60, you will get a check. In Europe, you will get a check. Not here. We don't get any generalized social security available to us. First thing. So that means everybody has to save for themselves. And 85% of us are self-employed people. Not many people even know about, recognize this or anything. 85% is self-employed. You have to earn their own keep. There is no other way. Along with that, health. You have British system is there, health security. Europe it is there, US it is there. We don't have. At your very old age, and getting into government hospital is a very, very risky proposition. Right? So you have to save for that. And third is education. Extremely expensive. Most of you would know. Actually, UKG I found out is more expensive than doing in my institute every year. Capitation fee and then parents interview, grandparents written test, all complicated. And that fellow, one fellow telling actually he has to approach a MLA or minister to get some recommendation to put his child into the UKG. Education is very expensive. I'm sure most of you would have attempted or, right? It's not a very, so that you have to save. If you go to a bank for school education, you don't get loan. If you want to study B, you get. If you want to go abroad and study, you get. But sir, I want to put my child into UKG. No, I'm telling you, it's more serious issue. They have to. I've been arguing in many bank boards. Anyhow, that's separate. And why? Because the woman particularly is very obsessed with education of their children in India. Men may not even know which class he is studying. What class? 6th. Ayo, Appa, I'm in 8th. Oh, sorry. This fellow won't even remember what he is. But women are very obsessed. So a lot of studies have shown. Simple reason is all Indian women want their children to be better than their husbands. So let's be very clear. I don't think they can have any two opinion on that, right? Because that's the only way she can take a vengeance on you. Because that fellow cannot be rectified. He is hopeless. Anytime when he is not around, she will say, don't be like Appa, study hard, do well, when he comes. So this is something very. And the fourth thing is social security, health, education. Fourth is samskaras. Again, housewives is the one who take care of all the samskaras. The death, the birth, the relatives, so many functions, festival. She's the one who actively get involved and poorer segments are more active in this. Let's be very clear compared to the richer segments. Richer segment, if somebody dies, he will send an SMS, very sorry you have died. Then he will realize, oh God, this SMS won't reach that fellow because he did that. But poorer segment will catch a bus, travel, go to the place, buy saris, participate actively in whatever. Similarly, the childbirth, you will participate much more. So a portion of the money goes for these activities. So put together all these four, and anytime soon, I don't think any of this reason is going to change. That's why the household saving rate is phenomenally high. We tend to, and that's true for other countries of Asia also. So we are, and they are phenomenally indebted. Now, why should Europe or US household or British household get so much indebted? The reason is very simple. They have forgotten a 6-letter word called saving. Now, why did they forget a 6-letter word called saving? So the root of the problem is there is another 6-letter word called family. That has gone in European years. When family is not recognized or is not one of the critical entities, the concept of saving will not be there. Because saving is for the others. Saving is not for yourself. So family means, so over a long period of time, over a period of 30-35 years, there has been a campaign in Europe and US, and it has started here also in metros, that families are burdens. Right? Spouses are constraints. Children are encumbrances. I'm telling you very seriously. When this campaign was going on for 30 years, now what has happened?